and just for our listeners, in case I don't say it in the intro, you're a professional tennis player,
That's right.
and the title of your book is Lucky Loser.
That's right.
Because you were. Is it fair to say just professional?
Yeah, yes, and you can use any description you want. I mean, I would say in the baseball terminology where there's single A, double A, triple A,
pro.
I think pro, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say I was in the double A range.
Right.
So, and I got a few at bats in triple A.
Right.
And I almost got an at bat in the majors, but I lost in triple A. So, yeah, that distinction is tricky. I will tell you this. No one in my position retires. You quit.
Right.
Right?
Right.
People who win Grand Slams retire.
Yeah.
People who have money in the bank retire.
Right.
I quit.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is such a mind-bending place to be.
Yes.
Because you're so good for so long.
Right.
When did you realize as a child, like, I'm really good. Like, I'm beating everybody around me.
Yeah, I mean, I described some of that in the book. Like we had so many trophies that my parents had to take out a storage unit. And that's not hyperbole. Like it was like I entered it and I won it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you play second and then that kid that you lost to, you would watch was like 2 in the country or what,
right.
it was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
So it wasn't until really high level of college and I played University of Illinois and we were #1 in the country that I really met and connected with all these other little freaks of nature that were like, I'm the best in the state of Washington, or actually, I'm the best in the state of Florida. And it was like, oh, this is different level. I played in Michigan. It's not, traditionally an amazing tennis state, mostly because of weather.
Right.
But yeah, you figured it out pretty early on that.
When's the first time you hold a racket?
I first hold a racket at age 4, and I remember I talk about it in the book. It was Kosta family tennis. My family would take us down to this little club, and we would play tennis. And I remember all the other siblings seemed so complicated to them. My dad would say, "Christy, just serve it this way," and then I would just serve it that way, and then Christy would take a year to figure that out.
Right.
So I had some ability for that. As you climb up, you realize ability is like 20%, 30%. You need work ethic, perseverance, dedication, also a delusional aspect that we all need as comics.
Sure.
Which is like you believe that you can do this thing when I think the universe is telling you you can't.
Yeah, nonstop delusional belief in yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I quit tennis, I made an inventory, and this is in the book, of what I had at the time in my tennis career, how many ATP points I had, how much money I had. And the biggest factor in why I quit was self-belief. I didn't have the self-belief at that point.
Right.
And that's
Had you? And lost it?
Yeah, I had it.
Right.
Or I believed I had it, and then you travel the world competing at this level, and you see some Russian kid who has been playing tennis by, tying a string between 2 trees on a dirt parking lot, and you go, he wants it more than me.
Right.
100%.
Right. That's got to be a weird. Can you generalize how long a period that is? Because you think you're the best in the world.
Yeah.
Like, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and then it starts to crack a little bit.
It starts to crack. I mean, I would say I played full-time professionally 2.5 years. And after the first year, when you really, and I played summers before that, so I have a lot of different pro tennis experience, but hardcore full-time 2.5 years. After that first year, you should have an idea of where you stand.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in the 900s, thousands in the world.
Right.
And it was like, oh, some of these guys that I saw this year just have an incredibly different level of weapon than what I have.
Physically?
Yeah, I mean, yes. Yeah, because you can't see the mental as much.
Yeah.
But I remember being on practice courts and I would be like, what is that giant sound I keep hearing? And then you go over and it's like this guy hitting a serve who a year later, I'm watching in the round of 16 of the French Open, and you're like, oh, he just goes straight up. In some ways, it's like comedy, and that like there are some open micers that are just so good before you know it, you're watching their special.
Yeah.
That does happen occasionally.
Sure.
Yeah, and there's a lot of sadness associated with realizing you're not going to make it.
Yeah, I mean, your whole life has been, right? Your whole life, really.
Yeah, and I wasn't one of these kids that like every single thing was tennis, but as a young adult, that was the case. I had a nice balanced childhood to the detriment of my tennis, I'm sure. I tell my parents all the time, why weren't you more assholes? Maybe I'd be better.
Right.
Watch Richard Williams. Why didn't you do that? But
do you think if there
I think I would have been better and I would have been more messed up.
So you think physically you had you had the bones.
Yeah, I think physically I was there. I did not have the technical in my opinion where I lacked early on was technical and instruction. So I think there's physical, I think there's mental, which I think I probably had. I had the competitive spirit. But I didn't really figure out how to volley or come to net or finish a point till I got to college. At that point, I was 19 years old. It's too late.
It's too late.
Yeah. No, this past. Yeah.
So early.
Yeah. So,
but man, what a difficult spot because now, like as a parent, you see your kids, and even if they have aptitude, you're like, are we really gonna go all in and like
I know
drop everything in our life so we can get them like the instruction? Like, you really have to have something has to intervene where they really believe as much as your kid believes like that this is possible. Yeah, and that's a complicated discussion amongst the family. I mean, even now with my 5-year-old, I'm like, do we continue piano lessons? I don't even know if she likes it. Right. But then it's like, wait, she's 5. She might get good at it and like it. Yeah. And, yes, my parents did not remortgage the house so I could have a bigger forehand. But the parents Which happens a lot.
It does happen. And parents that do that kid usually does have a bigger forehand. Like for sure.
Sure.
But at what cost?
How many siblings did you have?
I'm the youngest of 4.
4.
And
so
tremendous tennis career, collegiate, tennis player, University of Illinois, Big Ten champion, 4-time Big Ten champion. Went on to play pro tennis. But when we're really like looking at the difference, if we would have spent all summer working on my forehand with a high level technical coach, that would have helped me. But I don't know. Then I also wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right, exactly. With a box of cookies.
I was going to add, what are these?
These are cookies.
Oh, great.
This is Vesuvio Bakery on Prince Street.
Okay, I was going to ask you, where do you get your bread?
They're so good.
Okay, great.
They're really good. But I came in and I was like, I'm just going to give him a piece of bread. These cookies look insane.
My family will devour those, so thank you for that.
Be really good.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. We watched, what was the name of it? The movie about showgirls. With
was it the one that was nominated recently?
Really a dad moment.
Yeah.
It was nominated.
Was it the Pamela Anderson one?
Anderson. Okay. And my wife was a dancer.
Okay.
She did like shows like that when she was young. And it's similar to an athlete. Mm-hmm. It's like even in the best case scenario for a football player, you're done at a pretty young age.
Yeah.
I mean, the freaks can go like Tom Brady. Yeah. But I think the average career in NFL is like 3 years.
Oh yeah, it's and like
really
80% of them get diabetes after that. It's because it's like what they're eating and they're exactly yeah.
And so it's like even in the best case scenario of being an athlete, you can of course make a lot of money and do whatever and in the if you're super successful, but the path is like watching these showgirls, it was like it's coming to an end. Yeah, you literally can't. You're not a kid anymore. So it's such a blessing that you found comedy, that you actually were able to like. You can ride this, and you can be 70 and be writing your 5th book. And really, I mean, it really is a blessing.
Yeah, it's a blessing in that I found something else. You mean? Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree with you, and I think the point the book is trying to make is all of the things I learned in tennis set me up to be successful in this next thing.
Yeah.
As long as I didn't just see my whole life as a defeated purpose, which can happen to athletes.
Sure.
I didn't make it. I didn't win the thing.
Right.
And part of the reason that I was able to lose in tennis, fail in tennis, be a loser in tennis, whatever you want to call it, and transition into comedy was because I had like balanced parents that were like, get the education. Now, it's also part of the reason why I didn't win a Grand Slam. So I don't know. It's like painting the quilter who killed a guy is a real person. It's like my good parents helped me understand that there's more to life than this thing.
Right.
But also, if they would have been more one-dimensional,
yeah,
maybe I would have been a millionaire.
Yeah. Yeah. But in the totality of
Correct.
life.
Correct.
It's like it really gave you, because, you know, we know a lot of people in comedy who are so funny, like crazy, crazy touched funny.
Yeah.
Who can't make a phone call.
No.
Or can't organize their life.
Or can't show up, or can't figure out time changes.
Right.
It's like, what? Well, and tennis is like, I mean, it was outrageous the amount of skill sets you would see that then couldn't get their life together.
Right.
That's very common.
Yeah.
I'm curious what your answer is to this, but when young comics ask me for advice, I always just say, pick a path. Maybe it's TV, maybe it's writing, maybe it's performing. Pick a path and go hard at it.
Yeah.
And know that you might do that path, and it might lead you to a different situation. Because that's kind of what has appeased me. I'm going tennis, I'm going hard, it's all in. Oh my God, when I really have a moment, I realize all these things I've learned. I love comedy. I've always written comedy. I've always kept joke journals, even at the age of 8.
Yeah.
So all those things I learned at this path are going to help me for this path. What do you tell comics? Or do you don't talk to young comics?
Yeah, I don't really. Our producer, Danny, over there was asking me some advice, and I just told him to shut his face.
Shut up, Danny.
It's you. First, the first thing, which I don't really say actually, but you know whether you have to have the delusion and the love is so intense that nothing's going to stop you.
Yeah.
Like it literally, and it's not like this arduous, I'm gonna fight through this. It literally is just this kind of quiet whimsy of I'm doing this. Like, and it doesn't, like, if you have question about it, of like, and then I can do something. The whole thing about like, if you have a plan B, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Right. It's that. Like, you really, really, truly need that to find your way in this weird business.
I thought, and this is revealed in the book, but I thought that I loved tennis. And I believe that the realization I came to when I quit was that I loved playing tennis with my family. That's what I was kind of chasing.
Right.
And when I went to college, the Illinois team became a new family, which was as equally fun and intoxicating and competing together.
Yeah.
But as a little guy, the youngest of 4, sitting on the back of my mom's bike or next to my dad's car, we would go to this club and we would play as a family. And I was like finally part of the group. And I loved that. And so then being good at tennis was, you know, pat on the back. And finally mom and dad were paying attention to me because there's 4 kids. They weren't paying attention to anybody.
Yeah.
So when I was really faced with this crossroads of like, do you really want to keep going hard with tennis? And I realized what a lonely existence it is. It's very similar to road comedy.
Right.
Very similar.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I don't want to keep doing it. I'm not like having fun playing tennis. I'm not playing tennis with anybody. I'm playing with me. That's it.
Yeah.
And other people that are trying to humiliate me. Literally their job is to make me look stupid.